each morning. Say you love me. You know I do. Love me. That's all I ask of you.
Toronto-born Rebecca Caine plays the leading female role of Christine Daae. Byron Nease plays Raoul, the handsome young aristocrat who competes with the Phantom for Christine's affection. What's all this talk about garlic?
The garlic? Well, the garlic thing started when I was playing Colm Wilkinson's daughter in Les Miserables in London, and the theatre was in the sort of Italian part of London, and we used to go out and eat, and we all used to eat garlic, and then we'd be doing the bit at the end when he's dying, and I'd be going, "You will live, Papa, you're going to live," and he was doing this. But he eats it too. He eats it at night with honey. And so anyway, and he's always buying it for me too. The thing is it's very good for you. It's about the best way to eat concentrated vitamin C. So we eat it all the time.
Of course, on the other hand, if you're doing a love duet and you're having sort of the war of garlic and onions here, she's carried on the great tradition here in Toronto.
He eats Caesar salads before we go, and it's disgusting.
It's only to defend myself.
I love him anyway. I love them both. I don't mind if they smell. I just don't like it when they tell the press.
How would you describe the character that you play?
Space cadet. Yeah, that's about it. She takes lessons, singing lessons through the walls of her dressing room. We're not alike. Yeah. I think I'm slightly more intelligent than she is, aren't I, darling?
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you.
How does Christine feel about Raoul?
Sort of meat and two veg, really, if you know what I mean. And the Phantom is sort of, let your darker side give in, but she realizes that this is the person that she really has a future with. And that's why, I better not say, in case you haven't seen the show. Oh, she's crazy about him, but she's sort of torn different ways because she sort of sees him as her father and then as a sort of Svengali figure, and then there's the sexual side of it, which is probably the strongest side of it.
You've appeared in television and film with celebrities such as Carol O'Connor, Carol Burnett, and Mary Tyler Moore. What brings you back to the live theater?
My first love. This is what I feel like I do best. There's an immediacy about a relationship between the actors on stage and the actors with the audience it's a real visceral thing that I really enjoy. And besides, I get to sing love songs to this beautiful lady and kiss her and get to smell her garlic. What else, could be, what could be better than this?
What kind of training have you had?
Actually, I didn't have a whole lot of training before I moved to New York. I've always sung. My mother was a singer and my grandfather, but my own training in college was more general courses and with a degree in speech communications. So I've kind of learned as I've gone along.
Your career is being divided between musical theater and opera. Do you have any preference between the two?
No, I don't really see a difference between the two of them. They're all acting and singing, especially now as musicals are becoming through sung. There's really not that much difference. I love them both.
Rebecca, you've had the chance to play Christine both in Toronto and in London. How would you compare the two productions?
Oh, this one is better.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, I know I'm biased.
Leading men.
My leading men, although the other ones were pretty good too. They were different. No, it's also to do with the theatre. The show just fits in the theatre beautifully. The show starts when you come in the front door here, and the cast are incredibly talented because there was such a desire to be in the show. We've probably got about 3 different casts actually just sitting on stage right now. So it's very exciting, and there's a sort of an enthusiasm here that you don't get in London, and you probably don't get in New York. I think people are a bit more blasé there. That's very refreshing, nice to work with.
How do you manage to stay healthy when you have to perform 8 times a week?
Oh, lots of garlic.
Does he?
No, I do. You just.
Do you warm up your voice before the show?
Not as much as Rebecca.
Yes.
No, I go to the gym and we try and eat right and get enough sleep, and the same way you stay healthy for anything else. I think, that's a joke. You develop, answer this one.
What? Well, no, the thing is that we don't actually do very much apart from doing the show. I mean, we go home and we sleep and we eat and we come back and we do the show again, because that's all you really have the energy to do.
You develop different kinds of disciplines.
Yes, you're right.
You both live in different parts of the world. Do you find the commuting to be a problem at all?
What, from London?
Yeah, and to live in new parts of the
Oh
world.
no, I don't miss London at all.
You miss your friends?
Yeah, but I have a huge phone bill. You know, I brought my boyfriend with me, so that's the most important thing. You have a big phone bill too, don't you?
I do, but I'm all alone in the world, so.
Well, I'm sure.
Oh, don't say that on TV. You do not belong.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
And
Best
you.
of luck.
Thanks.
One combined, the phantom of the opera is there inside your mind. Let your soul take you where you long to be.
Colm Wilkinson plays the Phantom of the opera. Colm, do you ever get any nightmares about the character you play on stage?
No, the only nightmares I get if they don't pay me for doing it, that's all. No, but no, I don't. You actually can, you know, people say you take on the personality of the person you play, and that you go home at night and you sort of think you're the Phantom, and I know actors who do that, and you don't. I don't do that. You just leave it. When you leave the theater, you're yourself again. But I have to say this as well, that you do always try to ingest, if that's the word, or put into the character certain traits that you have in yourself that are compatible with the person you're playing. Now, I'm not saying that I'm a psychotic, maniac, murderer or anything like that, but I'm saying people, he gets very angry in this, and he gets, you know, very, very vengeful, and I try to think in areas that it might have been like that in anger, and you just exaggerate that to a certain degree. So you build on what you have and make it credible. If you're saying, you're trying to sort of make a comparison between myself as the person and the Phantom.
How would you describe yourself as a person in real life?
Somebody said to me, because I take garlic for my throat and honey, and somebody said garlic is to salad what insanity is to art, right? Now I think, I'm just going about a roundabout way of saying that I think a lot of actors are slightly lula, they're slightly off the wall. Because to do this kind of job, you'd want to be, really, to put yourself up there on the stage and act out different things. Myself as a person, my personality, I suppose, I would say I'm sort of a quietish type of guy. Not on stage, because that's where I get out all my inhibitions. But I'm a quietish type of man. I love music. I have a fanatical, insane love for music and singing and acting. But my personality would be, I suppose, quiet, I would say. I'm quiet, but then there's a lot of people who would totally disagree with that and say that now he's a very loud-mouthed, egotistical maniac.
Do you think that there might be some hidden psychological meaning behind the mask covering only half of your face? A dark side that everybody hides, perhaps?
Absolutely, because the first Phantom, when I did the workshop at the first show, I wore a full mask right over both, if this is what you're looking for in terms of an answer. The actual half side is what you said. That half covers what you would say the psychotic side of the Phantom. This half is open, and this is the good side. It's the evil, good and evil. It's the balance between good and evil. And also, once he has the mask on, he can stand up and present himself to the world. But when they take the mask off, like ripping a person's exterior off, he becomes very vulnerable and very open. This is what happens when she takes the mask off. He can't face her, and he covers up immediately, and he becomes introverted immediately, back to what he was, back to the lair. The mask allows him to come up and be a strong, presentable type person, but once the mask is taken off, he's back within himself again, because he reckons he cannot present what he has on his face to the world.
What's it like sitting with a makeup person 2 hours every day?
Well, we've got it down to 2 hours. Originally it was about 4. But it's fine, because Leslie Olsen, the girl who does it, is wonderful, and she's very, very patient. And I sometimes fall asleep because I sit in sort of a dentist chair, because I need to stretch back, and I sort of meditate a little bit. I just relax, or read mail, or read a book, or whatever while she's working. But there's certain areas that are times that you can't do that. So I just have to put my head back, and I usually sleep sometimes. I fall asleep, I snore.
When you wake up, it's all done.
Well, yeah, a lot of time. Yeah, when I wake up, it's all there. Yeah.
Do you have any advice for young people who might be interested in theater as a career in the future?
Yeah, I could take 3 hours talking about this one, but I'll just say, if I can, very briefly, that I have found this. I never planned to be an actor or a singer. I just sort of sidestepped into it through, as I say, being involved with music and coming from a home where music was just the natural thing to do. I just naturally progressed into a band and then started doing Superstar, Jesus Christ Superstar in the early 70s, and then came into different musicals. But I would have to say that it's a very inconsistent profession in terms of wages. I've been very, very lucky because I've been in gainful employment most of my life, most of my career, and I've had very, very few times where I was, which is what they call resting in our business. But there are moments, it's a terrible, you've got to be very strong, let me put it this way, emotionally, and yet you've got to be sensitive enough to be able to relate to people and to open up to people on stage, I mean. And sometimes it's very difficult to take the kind of knocks you get in this business. So what I'm trying to say to any children who are interested in this kind of career, that you've got to be very positive and determined and very, very ambitious about what you want to do. Otherwise, you'll be sidetracked by when people say, hey, I don't like that, you can be devastated. And I must say this, and this is a very important thing, that when you go for an audition, because you don't get the audition, may not be down to your talent. It may be that they just do not like your size, or not that they don't like it, but they're not looking for the kind of person that you are. Maybe your size is wrong, maybe your look is wrong, and they're looking for something else. People are trying to take auditions as very personal things. As I say, haven't done a lot of auditions because I've usually just got into the parts straight off. But don't be discouraged by auditions that you don't get. And make sure you find out exactly what they're looking for before you go down. And this is what I'll end on, and I won't go on much more. The Irish were vaccinated with gramophone needles. We talk a lot. But I just want to say that at the end of the day, this profession is one of the most rewarding professions in the world, because there's nothing like the applause. And people who say they don't like applause are liars. It's wonderful to hear people clapping you at the end of a show when you've worked very hard and you know they've loved it and they've liked it and they stand up and they applaud. It's the best experience in the world.
What lies ahead for you and for the Phantom of the Opera?
Well, I'm sort of here, I'd say, for about another 9 months to a year. I don't know, really. There are a lot of different things. There's a movie of Les Miserables, which I hope to do. There are 4 or 5 different musicals that I want to record again. I've got an album called Stage Heroes out at the moment. It's on BMG. This is a big plug for the album, but it's on sale at the moment. I want to do another album. I want to do some concerts. I do a lot of concerts on my own. I do 2 hours on my own with a 50-piece orchestra. And I'd like to get into I like to cover all the different aspects of this musical career. I like to do acting, I like to do straight roles, I like to do movies, I like to do, it's another string to the bow. That's another thing that you should do. Diversify. Don't concentrate on one thing if you can. Don't, just diversify as much as you can. Write songs, sing them, act them, do it all if you can.
Whether your interest lies in the production, the performers, the music, or the theater itself, The Phantom of the Opera is definitely worth seeing. I'm Peter Wolfl at the Pantages Theatre, and from all of us here, good luck in your own career.